Welcome in, everyone, and welcome to Week 2 of the Vision Corsa IndyCar Racing Series presented by the Prodigy Racing Association. Thomas Cuthbert, also known as Orion, I here with you today as we prepare for Week 2 of 12 of our IndyCar series. It's Season 3 here in the PRA. We'll quickly go over the information regarding the league, just so everyone's caught up. We're all using the Dallara IR18. It's a 50-50 mix of road courses and ovals for the regular season. There will be a total of 13 races with $375 in a prize pool. First place will get $130, second $75, third $40, fourth $20, fifth $10. You'll get $50 for the most points earned in oval races, and when we get to Daytona, it'll be a winner-take-all $50 prize. These are on Tuesday nights. As you've seen, we're using realistic weather on 75% fuel capacity. All tires choices will be available. There will, in fact, be some wet races. That is the expectation. Everyone will have one fast repair to work with. And oval races will have one green, white, checkered available. The lucky dog and wave around rules will be active. So far, we have not needed to use those as no cautions have come out yet. Speaking of those and the start will be on the iRacing green, and the restart will be on the lead car as the pace car leaves the track. Let's go on to the points yet again, because there was an error in the last week message, and I apologize for that. It's the top 5 drivers that earn points based on their qualifying position. Then after the race, that was correct. You get 45 for the win, 40 for second, and then you drop a point per position. Your bonus points, you get 1 for leading a lap, 1 for leading the most laps, and 1 for scoring the fastest lap. For oval races, you'll have 5 points for leading at the halfway mark. And the last point provisional system is active. The second part, well, we've got 4 events that'll be double point races. Race 2, 6, 8, and 12 with severe caution violations that can result in last points, provisional points being given to you. As we mentioned earlier, the second race on the docket is today, and with that, following that, we'll have Road America, Homestead, the Indy Road Course, the Indy Oval, Daytona is the All-Star Race, Portland, Milwaukee, Watkins Glen, Iowa, Laguna Seca, and then Michigan after Thanksgiving. But for today, we are headed to Kansas. It's time for the first oval race of the season and the first double points race of the season. That's right. This is a double point race, which means that while qualifying will stay at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the race points will all be doubled. So you get 90 points for a victory here at Kansas, 80 for second place, and after that, you drop 2 points per position. 5 points will stay as you lead the halfway mark, and it will stay 1 bonus point for the other categories. Let's go through our drivers real quick. We mentioned the list earlier. If you've probably seen this list before, however, we did have to make a couple changes. We will go over them very swiftly. Borgert Pepping drives the number 2, Murray the 4, Guilherme the 5, Landon Lacey the 6. Melnichuk is not going to be participating. It was a misunderstanding on my part. I did believe that he would be driving. That is not the case. Melnichuk is confirmed out. Cody Linscott, Joe Nerton, LeBlanc, Duncan, Clark, Sallow, Fontaine, Hamilton, Griffiths, your race winner over at Long Beach, Miller, and Deckard round out your first page. The second page went Aiden Hill, Rodney Roberts, who took himself out of the race at the end of the last one. But basically what had happened was he had a lot of damage, and he said, I'm not driving no more. He also gave himself a penalty, which was kind of funny. But don't worry about that. We'll go over penalties in a little bit. I don't think I have a graphic for them, but we can talk about them. Javier Lopez, Alex Jones, the winner of Season 2. Oh, we're in the practice session right now. I've got it in the background. Parker Dime, Morgan Smith, Fozzie Vazzillo, Byron Bailey, Matthias Marcamini, Jacob Schneider, Joey Kuba, Spencer Torrance, Austin Diltz, Brandon Farley, and Brad Marath. We do have some new drivers in the list for today. Min Hang, Jeffrey Goodpaster, Nick Pollard, and Daniel Blanco will all be joining us. Hang will be taking the number 1 car that Alex Jones forfeited for this season, opting for the 45. Goodpaster takes the number 33, Pollard the 55, and Blanco the 82. So let's go over our standings for today. We don't have any confirmed absentees for today. So let's go over our standings. Right now in the lead is George Griffiths. This is with the adjustments for all of the points. We had mentioned earlier, the last week, there was the, I had misinformed of all of you. I apologize on that front. that it was top 10 points, it's top 5, and that has been reflected upon in the standings here. Griffiths is in the lead right now with 53 points. Your second place driver is Jacob Schneider with 43. Torrance has 42. Mark Domini, 41. Dime, Duncan, Salo, Lopez, Miller, and Aiden Hill round out your top 10 drivers for today. For 11 through 20, it goes Austin Diltz with 31, Nerton with 30, Brad Marath, 29, Alex Jones, 28, Farley, 27, Smith, 26, Fazillo, 25, Roberts with 24, Hamilton, 23, Byron Bailey, 22 points for him. This is also considering that not every driver has registered for a race, and that is likely to be the case throughout the course of the season. Some drivers are just unable to make most of the events and are here to participate here and there in one or two races. I myself am doing something similar in the GT3 season coming up soon. More information on that over at discord.gg/PRA. Speaking of which, that's where you can get all the information about the races upcoming. Road America will be next week on the 16th. Homestead, Miami on the 23rd. The Indy Road Course will be on September 30th. And the first race of October will be on the Indy Oval, the classic IndyCar race. You'll have Daytona for 50 laps as the All-Star race, Portland for 30, Milwaukee for 60, Watkins Glen for 25, and I do believe that is the boot variation, the full course. You've got Iowa, Laguna Seca, Thanksgiving break, and then the final double points race of the season, Michigan for 40. And so with that, we are about the halfway point of our practice session. And so we'll get to sort of talk about how things are very different going from the road course, also the brutal road course of Long Beach, heading into one of the ovals for this season in Kansas. We'll make sure we get everything all nice and tidy. Just keeping everything all nice and clean. Perfect. Let's go to the track. Let's see if anyone is on. Ooh, that guy is crab walking and he missed pit exit. Okay. Well, pit entrance, I should say. I do believe there are a couple drivers that are hitting the track. Ooh, you're blinking. You're still not good. Here we go. We've got a driver on track. Let's head on over. Welcome to the Kansas 75. It is 75 miles on a 1.5 mile track, which means 50 laps will be on the board. And so for now, we'll just get to watch the drivers going around. This is Brandon Farley we're having a look at. And it's very different going from a brutal road course, one of the most infamous road courses actually in Long Beach, to this. It's very different. Because you're just, foot is flat the entire time, basically. There, of course, are going to be some crashes because with oval racing and driving at a, let's put it at very fast. As a matter of fact, we're going to consult with the iRacing UI. He is driving at 220 miles per hour at the moment. That is what we call fast. Double check something real quick. Was informed something may be incorrect. Maybe on my end. I don't have access to the other one. Okay, mine is correct. Oh, that's 3 wide. That is 3 wide. Chat, we have 3 wide. These battles are going to be really important to keep an eye on because these people have also gotten very strict warnings from the admins of this league that this practice you need to treat like it's the race itself. So nothing silly is going to be tolerated. Whoa! Nearly had a little bit of silliness as one of the drivers ended up quite slow, but thankfully the rest with some quick thinking get out of the way. Let me double check something here. There may be something incorrect going on. Do I have access to this? I do. Let me double everything here. Ah, there we go. I see. Let me go. Okay. Thank you very much to the person who informed us of this. I did not realize I actually could do this. So give me a moment. That will be sorted right away. Things are a little bit slow. They're hanging up on me. We'll get there. Perfect. We'll use my format. And if anyone objects, then understandable. Have a nice day. Thank you very much, White Sheep 34 for the follow on the PRA Network channel, as well as Jay Schneider 81, Reaper 31775. And from last week, we missed these ones. Well, I missed these ones because I did not see. A lot of them from exactly a week ago. X-Raider, Ditzy, Juju B, Tricia Wood, Manny Marco, Not Exa Vieri, Yuri Mills, Dave, Pierogi Dave, Alika, Clark, Space Wizard. Thank you all very much for following. Welcome to the PRA Network. All right, well, 10 of you in here for today. Nice to see you all. Hope you're all enjoying. Then we can keep things as is. Ooh, we had to go low. Well done. Get nice and low. Now that is a driver in pit lane. Here we go. Now we get to see the battle. Let's get up in the blimp cam. I do love me some good blimp cam action. You get a nice view of everything going on. We may change the camera around a little bit, but we can see the battle is almost becoming 3 wide, and they nearly come together, and they do! Big collision there as Torrance ends up getting clipped in the back end. Do we have... Yes, we do, so we will have a look at this one. And we are going to slow it on down. So, a good run from the driver on the inside, but perhaps a little bit of netcode rips the front wing off the car in front. And it sends Torrance into the pile. There's just not much that you can do after that point, and he ends up in a bad collision. But thankfully, very few other drivers get taken with him. As Marlo Duncan, I don't believe he was the driver in that collision. Regardless, let's get back to the track. This is Adam Miller in the 25. George Griffiths using the 025 car for this season. And so the main thing about oval racing is you have to operate very differently from your road racing, because in oval racing, stay on your line. That is the most important part of oval racing. Stay in your lane, stay on your line, because, again, we saw the speed earlier, 220 miles an hour, and there's no lifting. This isn't a track you lift. This isn't like a NASCAR or something like a Pocono Raceway, where you have to lift off of the turns because it's a triangle. Nah, you're flat. You're flat the entire way. It's really fun as well for those of you who may be familiar with some of the iRacing, like the unofficial series. The Dallara Dash is a really fun one to get used to. A similar style of car around a super speedway. It goes. And it goes a lot. You are in the pace. Nice. We'll get to see some of the liveries out in force for today. Of course, we have this up and running. We're going to double check everything, so things will be reset. Please wait. That's frozen, isn't it? Okay, no, we're good. Took a little bit to load on my end. Oh, it's good there. Oh, M2. No. M2, you can't operate like that. Oh, boy. Believe it or not, you must think just a little bit. Just a little bit of brain power. There we go. Back to the action. I want to get up close and personal. Give me that right front suspension. You can see all this. Stay in your lane. Beautiful. Oh, he's got to run, but he had to let off. Uh-oh. Is that contact? There may have been. No, if there was, he held it. Well done, Rodney Roberts on the inside of what could have been a very bad collision. We had Griffiths end up going down. There he is on the inside. Ooh, here he goes again, Roberts. What a beautiful livery. The Vision Corsa IR18 livery looks great. Was running something similar in the GT3 series as well, but there was a few technical problems that were stopping us from seeing that livery in all of its glory. And now we get to see Vision Corsa front and center. Can we get a good side view of this? I could probably set it up if you give them time, but ooh, that sounded like wall crunching. Wall crunching, not good. Let's change this one around. You're gonna see fun fact, this is how you change the camera angle of any car. Let's get that side view. We're going to need to go up as well. No, actually, let's go the other way. There you go. Look at that. That, my friends, is a beautiful livery. Flip the outside wall. Oh. Vision Corsa, of course, the title sponsor for the IndyCar series. Which also means we should see Borgert Pepping in at least one of the races as Roberts is heading to the pits. Looks like he took a little bit of damage on that bump on the outside wall. Let's get back to the track with Adam Miller. Miller in the 25. Let's see, who have you got behind you? It's Brad Morath on the inside. And he'll get by. Nice and easy. So far, it looks like we've got 18 drivers for today. And yes, iRacing does look a little bit different for those of you who may have noticed, because a brand new season is about to begin in iRacing, and they had quite the graphical update throughout the course of the day. It was a bit of a scramble for most people to get the update done. I got mine done early in the morning, and it was a bit of a mess, but it's fine. It works now. As we enjoy the glorious whining sounds of the IndyCar engine. Practice will wrap up in about 5 minutes' time, so there is a light. Oh, Miller a little bit too close to the right rear of Morath. Will just tuck in behind. Has the overspeed. Morath defending on the outside as Miller is alongside on the inside and gets by. Morath will peel up and duck in behind. Looks like it'll be a pit stop upcoming for Brad Morath. Likely heading in to finish up his practice session. Now, because the going below the apron is a bit of a death sentence if you do it during a corner, you instead, the PRA have decided that you will be allowed to, your pit entrance will be during the backstretch. So let's see if I can catch someone on the backstretch there. You're coming in a little bit hot. Everyone is heading towards pit lane. If you go on the inside here below the white line, that will be your pit entrance. I don't believe these drivers are heading to the pits. Uh-oh. That's a slow driver. Good reaction there. Spencer Torrance in the green, if I'm not mistaken. No, I believe he is in the red. There's a green car in front of him, driven by Aiden Hill. This is where they should likely duck in and head to the pits. No. Staying on the track. Oh, Hill's getting a little bit close there. Oh, Torrance got a little bit below the apron, and that's why they're not having pit entrance be by the turn. Because when you dip below that apron, you immediately start losing traction, and that'll be important to keep an eye on as the race goes on and things get a little bit squirrely, because it will happen. It's oval racing. This is very different to a NASCAR setting where you have just a whole ton of bump drafting the entire way, where you could basically hang on for the entire time, and if you got to dip below the apron, you can survive. It's not great, but you can. Nah, these cars do not play well like that. That wasn't quite what we wanted. Do we have the spotter camera? No, looks like that'll only be for NASCAR races. As you get to see the beautiful sights of a sunset in Kansas Speedway. Practice wrapping up in about 3 minutes' time. Is he right alongside? I think he is. This is Aaron Fontaine on the track. Right now, third fastest time. Aaron Fontaine, one of the more oval specialists, which also makes for an exciting season because you've got 4 oval races in the IndyCar series, all for double points. So drivers who maybe struggle in the road racing section, this is a prime opportunity to really jump up the standings and fight for a top spot right away. Heads up. He's there. Well done. Good job, gentlemen. Fontaine in the Moza Dr. Pepper livery. Looking beautiful in its maroon glory. Oh, that's a little bit dangerous, but it works out okay. Looks like everything's running pretty smoothly, which is great to see. I was a little worried about that before. Just double check everything. That should not be there. There we go. Put that away. Kansas. I wonder something. We're going to test something out real quick. As the driver has dipped below the line and will be heading towards pit lane very soon. There we go. I want this to pause. Thank you very much, Juju. Very much appreciate that. It has been fun working with the PRA. These guys have been very kind to me and have really let me do my own thing, which is it's like, you don't get that very often, and I do, in fact, appreciate that to no end. Always will. Don't need to do the collaboration. The focus is here on the PRA network. For those of you watching on my personal channel, you can do !PRA. That one will bring you over to the PRA network. As a matter of fact, I need to do something real quick. I did not realize this. The drivers are coming to a stop as they will be heading to pit lane to call it a day. There we go. And so we are here in qualifying. We'll start with Fontaine. Aaron Fontaine, again, an oval specialist, actually helped teach me some of the ways of oval, and in return, I got to spot him for a Daytona 500 set in iRacing that I think I know we finished top 10 in our split. What you'll see a lot of drivers do here is they're going to start on the outside and crash in as they end their outlap because their focus is going to be building up as much speed as humanly possible in order to get that proper lap on the flying lap. So we'll stick with Fontaine until record his first time. And immediately he ducks to the inside. And the first time on the board is Nerton, leads by 0.4 of a second over Fontaine. Brad Maratha and Rodney Roberts also getting some times in, also ahead of Fontaine. But he immediately jumps up to pole position. He's on his final lap here. That looks like a 25.163. One more chance to etch a time in on the board. Looking to take that pole position. Final lap recorded. The 25.227. Adam Miller ends up sniping pole position with a 25.152. My, oh my, we've got some fast drivers here today. This is Rodney Roberts right now in 8th position. And it looks as though he will be ending his lap early. Oh no, he's already finished up. Currently in P8. And so we'll get to have a word with Roberts as we get ready. Well, let's actually have a word with a few of our drivers. We'll have Reaper, Rodney, and Aaron. Here with a few of our drivers for today's race here at Kansas Speedway. Aaron Fontaine, we got to see your qualifying time up to second at the moment with your times. What can you say so far about what you expect out of the oval races for this season as opposed to road courses?
It's going to be a lot tighter racing. Or it's just going to be, I think it's going to be a lot more closer together. So just understanding just how close you can get without killing each other would be good.
That is a way to put it. Very understandable. I mean, we did see a couple of those instances during practice. But even still, you guys seem to at least have a pretty strong idea of how to race against each other, and getting used to each other as well, I think, is going to be very important. Would you agree with that sentiment?
Oh, absolutely. Especially as we get closer and closer to the race, and especially when we get closer to the end of the race, it's going to be a lot tighter quarters. We're not going to give each other room, or enough room sometimes, and understanding how close you can get can help with that, I think.
Very fair indeed. Now, for Rodney, for you, I know you have a bit of a dual role working with the administration as well as being on the track. What have you been seeing in your time in practice? I know you had a bit of a collision with the wall while we were looking at your beautiful livery. By the way, it's gorgeous. But
Thank you.
What have you seen so far on the track that you're both looking forward to and possibly wary of?
I think a little dirty air, if you're not expecting it, it can really sneak up on you. Catch a wall coming out of the corner. Also, it seems like if you can keep the car pinned down low, it's going to be hard to get around somebody.
Very fair. As far as some of the people that you were battling with in the practice, are you excited to get to race against them once we finally hit the grid and get rolling here at Kansas?
Oh, absolutely. This is going to be great. Little pack racing with IndyCars. It can't get any better than that.
No, it cannot. I will let you gentlemen hit the grid and get ready for your final preparations for today's race. Good luck out there. I'll be keeping an eye on both of you and the rest of our drivers, of course.
Thank you, sir.
That was Aaron Fontaine and Rodney Roberts. As we get everything nice and sorted, we're almost ready to roll with today's race. I believe we'll have the pace car hitting the track very soon. But before then, we want to go over our qualifiers. Our top 5 qualifiers. These will be the points distributed based on their qualifying position. Adam Miller takes pole position. George Griffiths comes in to steal that second place spot from Aaron Fontaine in the midst of our conversation. Landon Lacey in 4th. Barlow Duncan, the final spot here in 5th place as we approach the start of Kansas Speedway, the Kansas 75, presented by the Prodigy Racing Association in collaboration with HSW, Vision Corsa, and, of course, the Prodigy Racing Association. This ought to be plenty of fun as we wait for the drivers to hit the track. One more reminder of our races upcoming. Road America next week for 20 laps. Homestead, Miami for 60. Indy Road Course for 25. Then the Indy Oval for 50. And we'll hit the All-Star break after that. and get ready for our second half of the season, which will be Portland, Milwaukee, Watkins Glen, Iowa, Laguna Seca, and Michigan. All the information there at the bottom. You can go to discord.gg/PRA for more information about the IndyCar series and the rest of the series in the Prodigy Racing Association. So qualifying has a few more minutes before the session expires, and so the drivers will likely not be hitting the grid until a few more minutes from now. So something we'll keep an eye on. What we can do, actually, is let's go over some of the incidents that we've had throughout the course of practice so we can go over what some of the drivers might need to avoid and what to look out for as things get rolling. We'll start with Landon Lacey, our most recent one. This isn't qualifying. This is not what we're looking for. But we will start with Landon Lacey on the inside here. Oh, just snapped on him. And he took someone with him, it looked like. And sometimes that kind of thing does just happen. We'll get a different angle of it. On the inside. Does he go under the white line? Maybe clips it? That is probably the best guess I have. It immediately snaps to the right and collects the rear right of the car in front, and he goes spinning like a torpedo up the backstretch. Sometimes it happens. Let's go on over towards our next incident with Jacob Schneider. He was the one, but okay. Never mind. I see. This one registered as a separate crash as he was tumbling and bumbling around a full-on cartwheel, and finally the catch fence does its job. Thank you, catch fence. Here's Aaron Fontaine, part of an incident as he was heading towards pit lane. I believe this is him slowing to a stop. That it is. We had Jacob Schneider earlier. This is the same thing. He just goes into the pits. I missed. For Griffiths, what happened here? Okay, that registered as a crash. Nice. This could be the same thing. Is this the same thing? No, this is an incident. Ah, I see. This was when Torrance ended up in that collision, clipping off the front right wing. The front right of the wing. Landon Lacey here. He dips below the line. Is this him heading to pit lane? Looks like it. How about Brad Morak? I'm trying to get something we can actually learn from here. Oh, he ends up just slow. Is that him slowing himself down to take himself? It is. Okay. This is actually very, not, I wouldn't say troublesome. Thank you, Aaron Fontaine, with the prime sub for 4 months. Yet another one of these. I think this one is going to be something. Oh, that's a crab walk. That's some end of race nonsense. I would know end of race nonsense. How about Torrance? Oh! Oh, he clipped him. What happened there? We'll get to the grid in a moment. I want to see what happened on this incident here. Ah, there's a car on the inside. You can see him on your screen now up here in the top left. But I think Torrance wasn't quite ready for him to be there. And what happened? Oh, Torrance ends up drifting below the apron. He's crab walking before then, so that's not the incident we're looking for. Perhaps it'll be this one. Doesn't matter. We are headed to live as we get ready for the pace car to hit the track. The gridding session has begun. They will start in pit lane and I believe go around the track twice, if I'm not mistaken. It may be once. We'll see. 9:11 p.m. over in Kansas Speedway, and also 9:11 in the Eastern Time Zone. Give me a moment. Okay. It would actually be 8:11 right now in Kansas. See some drivers having a chat. We'll have to adjust somewhat. What was that? Those are pit boxes. Okay, those are lights from the pit boxes. Like if I switch to a different camera here, let's go to like this one for example. Yeah, the lights go away. So, okay, pit boxes. Thanks, guys. It's very understandable when you're in the night. Extra lights to make the pit lane more visible. Make all the line markings more visible. Visibility is going to be a very interesting thing to keep an eye on. Do these cars even have the lights on the front? I don't know. Let's go back to this first view. Actually, let's go to this one. No. So the lights on the track are doing all of the heavy lifting. And the cars are off. A cockpit view of Adam Miller. We know some drivers will sometimes like to have fun with the pace car because the pace car doesn't actually have physics attached to it. If you want, you could just kind of... I think Fontaine's... Oh, no, he's not going to. He can't. He's not in pole position. He can't do that. But you can, in fact, phase right through the pace car. At the very least, you could. I don't know if they changed that. Where's Duncan at? Oh, he's a little far back. Crowd's going to have to catch up. That's Duncan and Torrance in the team liveries together in 5th and 7th. So a few extra points for Adam Miller, but the main focus is going to be in the race. We will go one more time very quickly as we talk about our points. Qualifying will stay at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The race, 90 points for a win, 80 points per second, and then 2 per position after that. The pace car is off the track as we wait for our leader.
Green, green.
And the green flag is out. Welcome to 50 laps at Kansas Speedway. Right away, it'll get started with everything nice and smooth. No one really wants to make a move just yet. A little bit of swapping back and forth behind us here with Joe Nerton here in 8th position as the inside Torrance gets a good run on him. Over towards the front, Miller will stay in the lead, but it's Fontaine who has second place as the inside line gets a really good run at first. The interesting thing, though, is watch how these drafts go, because with everything going on, all the dirty air going on, there's a lot of this. Everyone's going to be bouncing back and forth in and out of the lanes because the understeer will kill you. We've got someone blinking in the back, which is not what you want to see, and in fact, he's hit the wall. Not ideal. Someone is in the pits. Someone has crashed. But regardless, we are still rolling. Fontaine a little bit slow here. And on the inside, that looks like Landon Lacey's going to get a chance on the inside to get a pass on him. And we'll move up to 3rd position. But for now, Adam Miller in the lead. With Marlo Duncan close behind. Now looking for a move on the outside. It's not quite there. They'll have Lacey join him for a hot second. But there's nothing available. Torrance will move up to 4th as Fontaine on that outside. Left stranded. Down to 6th position and could be getting passes. They go 3 wide. Aiden Hill here on the inside, looking for the outside driver. As again, the blinking could be worrisome as that line can potentially cause a collision, and hopefully that will not be the case. Let's get up close and personal. Marlo Duncan will be our focus, our 3rd place driver right now. Or maybe, let's go Jacob Schneider, right in the middle of the pack where a lot of the place swaps have been. Sort of straddling that darkened line on the tarmac, the edge of the lane, as most people agree with. Currently up in 8th position. And a lot of places are going to get swapped around. Everyone's really slowing down here on the inside lane. And the outside is really where the speed's gone as Aaron Fontaine jumps to 7th and Schneider down to 10th at the moment. How about Marlowe? He looks pretty smooth for now. Nice and easy for him with Griffiths on the outside, the leader of the outside pack. The car behind him is Blanco into 16 for today's race. It's okay, it's registering as a 16 in game. He's got the, oh geez, everyone's really bouncing around these lanes, and it's getting a little bit dangerous as Griffiths will move back to 2nd place, but Lacey on the inside has the run and will take it right on back. So Griffiths will return to his duty as the beginner of the outside lane, but the focus is right now all on the inside. That's where most of the drivers are and where the more consistent driving has been. Fontaine trying to start a 3rd lane as crashing in to the bottom lane is Blanco. Blanco now was looking towards the middle of the track. It wasn't quite there. Let's go a little bit further in the pack. How about Spencer Torrance behind his teammate in Duncan? A driver stranded on the outside. That's Fontaine, and he's losing places right now down to 7th. And it looks like it's going to be a few more. Maybe not. Perhaps he holds. Let's get up close. No, let's not get up close. Let's get up top. Love me some good blimp cam action. As it's now Blanco leading the pack on the outside. All right, now Torrance is the lone driver in this section. That outside has a massive gap that drivers are trying to catch up to. And potentially threaten Miller. Lacey maybe had a run on him, but had to slow down given that Blanco was on his outside, not giving him the room to make the move. 17 drivers registered for today's race. As things really starting to slow down, drivers are going to have to start checking up, and they do well on that front. Well done from everyone involved, avoiding a big collision. I hear crashing. No, just a wall touch. Well done, everyone. Oh, potentially Blanco nearly going into the wall as well. The big thing to notice, we heard from Fontaine and Roberts earlier about the dirty air. With these Indy cars, it's a little bit different as opposed to something like a NASCAR. You can ride the bumper of a NASCAR car all day long if you want. Well, the engine will overheat, but regardless, with Indy cars, you can't do that. You understeer like crazy with how these cars are engineered, especially with those front wings. So drivers are constantly floating in and out of the lane because they need to avoid that dirty air. They need to stay nice and smooth. They need these turns to be consistent because once you lose that grip, it's over. You're hitting the wall, and there's no argument about it. As Griffiths will get the run on Duncan on this outside, but Duncan gets it right back as Griffiths sort of floated towards that wall, potentially dealing with some dirty air from Blanco. It's Adam Miller in the lead still, untouched as of yet. We're 13 laps in, a quarter of the way through this race. And Blanco has been the big story so far, has jumped up 8 positions. Oh, he's had contact and knocked one car into the air. There may have been even more, and a spin's begun. He saves it. Oh my goodness, well done, but the caution will fly. And so while we have some time, let's get a better look at that one. I believe it was started from Daniel Blanco, but we're going to start with Landon Lacey here on this incident. We will slow it down as he gets bumped from the inside, ends up tagging another driver, and there does end up being more contact afterwards, with Lacey being too slow to keep up with the rest of the field. 2 more drivers end up getting knocked out, and that brings out the caution flag. And so we're going to get to hear from Fontaine and Roberts here in a moment. Here with Fontaine and Roberts yet again. We've seen some pretty strong racing so far throughout the first 13 laps of this race. How has it been on the track for you guys? I know, Fontaine, you've had a couple moments in and out of the top 5, for example. But generally speaking, how are you feeling about today's race?
So far, it's been really good. I wish I picked my lanes a little bit better, but it's been really intense, but fairly clean for the most part.
Now, we do see some drivers entering pit lane at the moment. The pit strategy, of course, does get sort of thrown into disarray once the caution flags come out. How do you see this potentially playing out later in the race about pit stops for the rest of the drivers?
At this point, if you pit here, you're good to the end. So, ultimately, I don't know.
Fair enough. Roberts, what would be your say on the pitting and drivers that have taken to the pit lane for the start of the race at this point in the race? As a fellow driver in pit lane, I believe. Well, maybe we'll get to hear from Roberts in a bit. We saw the incident earlier. It started with the collision between Blanco and Lacey. I do believe you were on the outside. Am I correct in saying that, Fontaine?
I saw it happen ahead of me, and it just Luckily, they all spun down instead of up, so that was nice.
Yeah, you did, in fact, avoid a potentially catastrophic collision. Thankfully, only a few drivers ended up taken out, but that is something to keep an eye on, I would imagine. Drivers sometimes getting a little bit swirly and a little bit of side contact.
Yeah, with these cars, if you touch wheels, you're kind of doomed. So it's a very much give and take all the way up until probably the final lap.
Fair enough. I will let you guys get back to your work, as far as, especially with Roberts and LeBlanc, with you guys having to deal with the up top part of the race. And Fontaine, best of luck to you as you continue on battling towards the front.
We'll see how it goes.
Indeed, we will catch you soon. It's fun getting to catch up with them as we get to hear from some of our drivers. With the pit stops that came through, we see Min Hang join us for this race, up in third position now. The thing with IndyCar races is these restarts are all single file. I remember when I was driving in IndyCar about a year ago or so, it was a similar thing where they wanted to do double file restarts, but too many collisions were happening the first turn afterwards. It just wasn't feasible to really do a double file, so they went to single file here, which is going to be interesting how it plays out for the oval, because a big thing that you'll notice with a lot of these drivers is, well, they go double file once the race is actually underway. We got a check up here. Careful, everyone. Well done.
Green flag, green
and we
flag.
are back to green flag racing with Adam Miller in the front, and we'll wait to see as the drivers expect to split into 2 lanes very soon. But for now, we'll stay single file with Miller in the lead, Torrance in second, Min Hang in third, and we do see our first driver go for the double file. It was Hang with, I believe, no, that wasn't Blanco, nor was it Hill. Unsure what that driver was that we saw hit the top of the track. I believe he's a lap down. Yeah, that's Pollard. Nick Pollard, one of our new drivers for this series, in the mix here towards the front of the pack. Now, with the fast repair having to be used, some of these drivers will be here in the back of the field. Check on something real quick. That's unfortunate. Some drivers had some really long update times. We mentioned earlier that that iRacing went through a pretty massive update, especially with its user interface. Is that 3 wide? Do I see Blanco going 3 wide? He was looking for it, and now he's got the lead in the middle lane, and things are getting a little bit squirrely behind him, but thankfully everyone's holding on pretty well. There may have been a piece of car that just got kicked up off the track. That may have been from the earlier collision we saw with Lacey and Blanco. We did also see a black flag fly for Joe Norton. Oh, and we've got him contact on the outside. And the yellow flag is out again, as we will get to a better look as to the collision that just happened there. This is James Sallow. What happens here? Makes contact with the wall. Holds on okay. No, it is not him. It is Min Hang that ends up in the big part of the collision. So let's go with him. What happens here? We'll take a few looks at this from a few different angles. He comes together with that. Looks to be, is that Fontaine's car? I don't believe so. I believe that is Marat. So let's get a different look on the replay here. So you can see that is indeed Marath in the middle of the track. He's got a pretty good run so far to go for this middle lane with Hang on the outside. Hang sort of starting to duck down just a little bit, and it's netcode contact, the culprit for this collision. But Hang just a little bit lower than maybe he needed to be, and it takes out 3. And that brings out the pace car yet again. This time with Blanco in second, Griffiths in third. And did that take out Fontaine? Yes, it did. He is in pit lane, and that one Maybe over, but he does have a faster pair to use. I'm not going to say anything. That's kind of funny, though. I've spoken with Fontaine a couple times mid-race. It's during the GT3 series as well, during Daytona. And he crashed immediately after. We see the wave around being given to Byron Bailey. He'll be back on the lead lap. I'm chatting with Fontaine right now in the background. We'll get to see how is everyone going here. So it looks like Byron Bailey, even with the wave around, will be choosing the pit stop. Fair enough. Wants to get himself ready for the rest of the race. Adam Miller so far the only driver that has led any laps here at Kansas. The lights are out on the pace car, which means this is our final lap around. Joe Nerton, the first car lap down. Right now in 13th position. I believe Byron Bailey is now heading back onto the track. There's another driver in pit lane. Is that Pollard? No, that may be LeBlanc. No, it's not. Who is that driver? Sallow. Understood. .24th lap about to be completed. Miller likely to grab those extra points for leading at the halfway mark in the race. In the standings, I'm going to have a quick glance on my end. I believe he could actually really use those points right about now.
Green flag, green flag.
As we are green flag racing yet again, and it looks like Adam Miller, he was in P9 heading into today's race. We immediately have a bunch of it. Look, a bunch of yellow was on the track. It looks like Ronnie Roberts had to slow himself down, but he is all set. As we will stay up towards the front here with Adam Miller going around the track, looking to hold on to the lead. Blanco is looking. He maybe has some room to go for it. He's trying it, but it will stay with Miller. He will collect the 5 points for leading halfway through the oval race here at Kansas Speedway. 5 points in the bank, and Miller looking to collect 90 more. And a big separation has taken place. Roberts here, half a second down on the pack in front, but he is catching up to them. Unsure exactly what happened with him, but regardless of what occurred, what's occurring now is the pack is really bunching up here in the front, and Roberts alongside Farley are able to catch up, and they can make this interesting yet again. IndyCars at Oval. This kind of thing is expected to happen. We've got some good racing so far today. Miller still leads. Blanco in second. Griffiths up to third. Morat trying to change that. On the outside. Schneider in the mix. Lacey, Duncan, Hill, Roberts, Farley. This pack is all bunched up. Let's go up high and have a look at it all. He's having to go a little bit below the apron there where a couple drivers. This is Schneider, the blimp is focused on here. The 81 car in a light blue in the bottom lane, down to 6th position for now. As it's still Miller. That's a big run. Griffiths looking for the lead. Trying to jump up ahead. Got alongside Blanco, but that was it. And the momentum ran out. Maybe trying to get an extra spark. He'll get some help here with Schneider. Looking for the draft. They are 3 wide now. Got to be very careful. Some checkups behind. Over by 6th position. Or 7th, rather. Getting up close and personal now with Marath. Nearly ends up collecting Schneider. The two of them do separate from each other in time. It is very tight racing, as you can see in front of us. Very nearly some contact across the board. Everyone holding on the understeer, possibly really factoring in. Miller still leads. Blanco desperately trying to change it on the outside. Is Miller below the line? He might be stuck below the line. No, he's not. He is clean. He does, in fact, have the room. Oh! Marath needs to go 3 wide here. He doesn't have a choice. And he's going to lose speed because of it, and may lose a couple positions depending on how the drivers around him are. He's got room to get back into the second lane if he so desires. Lacey here in third, and really washing out a little bit there was Blanco. Now trying to choke out Miller yet again. Lap 33 about to be completed. A little bit of contact with a wall. But it looks like all is okay there. Now, the interesting thing drivers have to keep in mind is how in the world are you going to pit if you're stuck on the outside lane? The answer is find a way on the inside lane, duck down in the backstretch, and start slowing down. That's your only answer. The lead stays with Lacey. A little bit further back here is Duncan trying to catch back up to the main pack, and he's got a horde with him. A couple drivers, a couple laps down, but regardless, Blanco losing some speed. Lacey gaining it, but it's Miller with a 2/10 lead. That is starting to dwindle now with Lacey. Oh, nearly one driver hitting the wall, but thankfully avoids it. Schneider under the outside lane, gets alongside Lacey, but loses a little bit of speed. Ooh, nearly a little bit of contact. Thankfully, nothing. And the big part is no pieces of car are flying off as Miller having the smoothest ride he could ask for right about now. 36 laps in. It stays with Miller. He looks to hold on to this for the rest of the way, but he will be under pressure as they go 3 wide. A blink behind us could be a problem. They are 3 wide behind Miller. Schneider in the middle. Lacey here on the bottom was looking for a lane. It's a great point in the fact that it's blinking. We'll have to keep an eye on him, perhaps. On the outside lane, I want to find a driver. Let's go to Marath. You can really get close to the action in front of us. It's Schneider now alongside Miller, but no one able to get by him. Once again, 3 wide as Marath is way up top. Desperately trying to challenge for the leader, all these drivers, all of them really have a good shot at it, but Miller has been holding them all off. That inside line has been a hero for him. There's a little bit of crunching in the wall. No yellow flag out yet. Oh, that's Miller headed for the pits, and the lead will change to Schneider. The 81 car now in the lead. As pit lane will have a new resident. Adam Miller heads on in. With 10 laps to go. Miller. Oh, we've got a crash in the background.
The yellow flag is out.
The yellow flag is out. It was Blanco who ends up in the wall, and he may have taken one with him. And Miller is thanking his lucky stars as his pit lane. His time in pit lane will not go unrewarded as we'll get another look at the incident with Blanco. Starts on the inside lane. And you can see a driver down the middle here. This is Duncan looking to go 3 wide. It's just a little bit too narrow and ends up clipping the back end of Blanco. And that ends up taking out, I believe it is just these two. No, Fontaine and Hang end up in the mix as well, and there's nothing they can do about it. And that brings out our caution here at lap 41. As Blanco will have to limp to pit lane with the front right wailing about. He'll have company with him. That's Farley heading to pit lane as well. So Miller, the first car a lap down. Will he get the wave around is my question. He's speeding up. That looks like a yes. No, he's just catching up with the pack. It is not him. It's Torrance who gets the wave around. Okay, it still does not have physics. Hurry. So Min Hang heading to pit lane in need of repairs. And Schneider in the lead, and Miller is now a lap down, and it looked like it was potentially going to be a blessing for him. Nope. Ends up as a curse. He's trapped behind the line now. Slow on down, Farley. Slow on down. Perfect. Let's get back up towards the front of the grid. It will stay with the lights blinking. I believe they will shut off as he crosses the line. And it is. Hang in the pits, and I don't believe he'll be rejoining the track in time. Maybe he'll get a couple laps in. Right now on lap 40 is Hang. The late lap 43 will be completed as we cross the line. Schneider, Griffiths, Marath, Hill, Bailey, your top 5 drivers for now. It's Roberts, Lacey, Duncan, Blanco, Farley to round out the top 10.
Green flag.
And the green flag is out. Schneider sets us off. And possibly a good start from the people behind the main pack. Is that Duncan? That it is. Marlo Duncan gets a good jump and will move up to 7th place. But the focus will be here in the front as Griffiths has a run on the outside. Trying to get ahead of Schneider. Not quite there just yet. And Marath had a little bit of trouble, possibly the understeer catching up to him. But he's now got a run on the inside lane. And a big collision behind us. Oh my goodness. What in the world? It was Hill and Lacey. What happened here? Here's Lacey going to the outside. And it's, Hill is slow here on down the middle of the track. What hit him? Oh my goodness. Have another look at this one. And tell me what you see as contact is concerned. Observe the car in green. Observe as the car in green gets suddenly shunted out of position. Right here, I believe. There he goes. He suddenly bounces into the path of Lacey. He has no chance to dodge that whatsoever. And a truly unfortunate incident takes out Lacey's hope for the front of the pack. I don't know if maybe there's a driver who we've seen have trouble with connection be part of that, but if there was, he didn't show, and it brings out yet another caution. The wave around being given to Joe Nerton, who now sits at 10th. Looks like Lacey's gotten hit with a black flag as well. Unsure exactly as to what that is for. The same goes for Sallow. So hopefully we'll get to hear what those are for momentarily. So it's Byron Bailey who's in gray, but he was ahead of the incident. I don't believe he was part of it at all. One more lap. We're in lap 47. This is going to be a tight race to the finish. Only 3 laps to go. No quarter will be given. No mercy will be shared. So your top 10 drivers at the moment: Schneider, Griffiths, Marath, Bailey, Duncan, Roberts, Blanco, Farley, Torrance. Where's he at? Bouncing around some of the drivers, our lapped cars in the mix, as our focus will be here. Adam Miller had a chance potentially at the win, but at the very least scores the 5 points, down in 11th at the moment. It's all on Schneider, and the green flag waves. Here we go. The final 3 laps are underway for Kansas Speedway. A lot of swapping of position. That is Byron Bailey having a lot of trouble here with connection, bouncing in and out. But for now is held on as Blanco had to really back up, potentially getting into it with Torrance here on the outside. The two of them will hold on. We'll stay in the front for now, though, as this is Schneider on the inside. Griffiths out. Marath behind Schneider. Lap 49 underway. It's still a side-by-side battle as Griffiths just does not have the speed to overtake Schneider. That inside lane has been too strong today. And now going to the outside is Marath. He wants to take this 3 wide. He wants to really battle for it. Everyone's looking for the side tracks. Everyone's inching, just trying and clawing their way for anything they can get. We are white flag racing at Kansas Speedway. It stays with Schneider. Griffiths jumps to second. It's Duncan on the inside. Marath will fall off. He doesn't got the speed and maybe doesn't have the traffic either. That's Blanco there moving to the outside. 3 wide as we head to the finish line. It's going to stay with Schneider on the inside. A little bit of contact maybe in the back. Schneider holding on for dear life. Everyone bouncing around. Schneider wins at Kansas Speedway. That inside lane proves to be the victor. Schneider, after Miller before him, holds on to that inside line for dear life, and it pays off big time. Schneider with 90 points to his name. A huge boon to his spot in the standings. And we'll look for the fastest lap. It belongs to Blanco, who will get the extra point there. And Schneider, your race winner. What a run. As other drivers will head to pit lane. And some of our drivers voicing a little bit of displeasure at themselves and their performance. Marlo Duncan picks up second place. And we'll get to hear from him in a bit. Hopefully we will hear from Griffiths as well. Let me make sure I understand who I need to grab. Griffiths is... Okay, that's cool. All right. We'll wait for him to hop on in. Your race winner is ready. And Schneider has shut down the car. Cool. What a run from Schneider. Takes over after Miller had to go into the pits, and Miller just could not catch up after that. Ends up in 11th position. So we will start with Marlo Duncan and bring him on in to have a word with him. Here with us, our second place driver of today's race, Marlo Duncan. Congratulations on the second place finish. 80 points to your name, and with the strong qualifying finish. Are you satisfied with the result of today's race?
I mean, I probably could have won that if there was about 5-10 more laps, but I'll take a second there after, flying into the fence a couple laps beforehand.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's good to kind of bounce back from the incident we had at Long Beach to get a good result here.
I'm curious, what exactly were you seeing with Schneider in front that you think you possibly had a chance at him like 5 laps later?
It was just like if I had been able to, if the top had cleared up, I probably could have gotten a shot out, and then could have held it enough around the outside that I could have just been barely able to bip him at the line. One of those Chicagoland style finishes.
Gotcha, yeah. I hear what you're going for. Possibly a chance on the outside. We saw a lot of drivers were going for that outside lane and were having trouble maintaining speed, sort of washing out a little bit. Were you feeling something similar while you were trying to drive out and possibly look for that outside line?
Yeah, the game plan coming in was basically just to kind of get to the lead and hold the bottom, because it felt like people couldn't really get past you. But as the race kind of figured on, because who was it in that McLaren car that led?
It was Adam Miller who led 35 laps before heading to the race.
Yeah, and then if we had gotten green flag pit cycles, we probably would have had some pretty big shakeups, I would say.
Well, that is not the way that things shaped out, but congratulations to your second place. We'll bring in our third place driver here. George Griffiths, welcome on in. You're our third place driver for today. A strong finish so far in your first 2 races. How happy are you with today's result?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. It was first oval race in the IndyCar in a long time for me. So it was fun just to get back into the car and back onto an oval.
It did seem like you were having quite a good time, and you were hanging in there for a good chunk of the race, even sniping second place in qualifying from Fontaine. What is it about the Indy cars that you especially seem to both love and have a lot of skill with?
I really like open wheel racing cars, and the Indy car has a good amount of downforce, and I don't know, it's just the way it drives and reacts to all the inputs is really fun to just drive around.
It's something you've had a lot of experience with. You've learned the car significantly. Is something along those lines?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I've been driving it for a while, and ever since the first time I tried it out, I've loved it.
So our next race for next week is going to be Road America, yet another road course. Are you excited to potentially fight for the win yet again in that one?
100%. Yeah, Road America, pretty popular track on iRacing, and especially in the U.S. So, yeah, looking forward to getting the IndyCar on there again. It's a good combo as well, so yeah, looking forward to that.
And we look forward to seeing you there as well. We'll bring in our race winner for today. Jacob Schneider, your winner for the IndyCar Kansas 75. Congratulations, Jacob, on your victory. We see you here still on the finish line. We saw you take the lead after the Adam Miller pit stop. Were you one of our drivers that took the early pit off the caution flag?
Yes, I pitted on that first yellow, so I didn't have to again.
Very understandable, and it seems to have worked out beautifully for you. Now, we heard from Duncan earlier that he felt he might have had a chance at you if there had been maybe like 5 or 10 more laps. Did you feel comfortable that you could hold him off if the race had kept going for another 10 laps, or was he starting to really put some pressure on you?
I mean, we can't go below the white line, and I was never going to come off the white line, so I don't know where he would have passed me at. So, it was just the leader. Once you got the lead, you were kind of in control. And the only reason I got the lead is like you said, Adam had a pit and just kind of gifted it to me. So, I got lucky that I got the lead, but once I got it, I'm not sure how anyone would have got by.
Duncan, if you would like, you are very welcome to have the conversation with them.
Oh, I mean, I was thinking that I could have been able to, if I was able to get around to the outside, in some of the testing I did earlier, you could just barely, bip them at the line and get past them. But I don't think I could have gotten to the lead and held it. I probably could have gotten you at the line.
Yeah, oh, yeah. You mean like you wouldn't have been able to clear down?
Yeah.
No, it didn't work for me.
Yeah. Full car lanes, ducking back in and taking that lead position. Because at that point, you're not fighting for getting the lead of the pack. You're just fighting for who wins it at the line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you on that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will say this, as someone who currently resides in Wisconsin, I'm hearing some rumors that it might be a little rainy next week at Road America.
That'll be interesting. IndyCar in the rain. I want to hear from all three of you. I'll start with George, our third place driver. You excited for potentially some rainy action at Road America?
I've never driven this car in the rain, and I'm now realizing there are no visor tear-offs or windshield wipers, so it'll be pretty chaotic.
How about you, Duncan? What are you thinking about it?
I mean, my driving style is really suited towards the rain, so I'm looking pretty excitedly towards the running in some, not dry conditions.
And Schneider, our race winner here at Kansas, how are you feeling heading towards a potentially wet Road America?
I'm more of an oval guy and have barely played with the rain on iRacing, so I'm probably in trouble. And judging by the way George killed us at Long Beach, I have a feeling he's going to be tough to beat.
That is very fair. But of course, it could be that, especially because George doesn't have much experience in the rain, potentially could be an equalizer. We might see some really good action as we head to Road America. Regardless, thank you all, gentlemen, for joining us. Congratulations on your respective positions, especially Schneider grabbing those 9 points for today's double race event. We look forward to seeing the rest of you as you go through the rest of your season. You guys can head on out. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you, you too.
And as for the rest of us, that brings us to a close here for the Kansas 75. Thank you all very much for joining us here today. A reminder, our next race, Road America, potentially in the wet as well. That is next Tuesday on September 16th. We'll be right here at around 8:30 for the beginning of practice, ready to bring you the Road America action. But until then, this has been Thomas Cuthbert, also known as Orion I, here for the Prodigy Racing Association. We will see you next week for Season 3 of the Vision Corsa IndyCar Series presented by the PRA.